Hello and welcome back to the TVBinges.com Pilot Roundtable, a Southgate Media Group podcast. I'm Kyle Tremblay, the editor of TVBinges.com, and I am joined as always by a fellow TV Binges writer. She's running for city council in her small hometown in Maine. It's Olivia Richards. Hello.
That's exactly what I'm doing. It's going well so far.
Very good. You're getting out the vote. You're baking cupcakes. You're passing them out.
Pulling a full Leslie Knope.
Exactly. Ooh, I wish Leslie Knope was in this show. Because we are talking about ABC's new spooky drama thriller. It's The Family. Olivia, what did you think?
I didn't know whether to cry or to laugh throughout the entire thing, and sometimes it was both.
Oh boy.
At the same time.
Yeah. We'll talk about where this one lands on the unintentional comedy scale in a bit. So the premise of this show is that Claire Warren, who is a politician played by Joan Allen, her son disappeared 10 years ago, but has now sort of wandered back into town, but he may not be her son. And we sort of go from there. Yeah, so it's sort of a thriller, mystery-ish kind of show. What about this? I'm going to guess by your opening statement. What about this didn't work for you?
About everything.
Okay, good.
It was so clunky and just heavy. I mean, obviously, like, it's a thriller, like, political intrigue. Like, there's really nothing light in the show, but at the same time, I hated all of the characters, so I didn't feel bad for any of them. But, like, it's a show that you're supposed to feel something for what's happening, but, like, each new thing that happened, I was, like, not really there with anything.
Yeah, this show... This is a real swing and a miss at prestige television. This is I mean, it's a mystery. It's a kidnapping mystery. And then it's also like got some kind of supernatural, like vaguely supernatural element with the kid, who's almost like an alien has inhabited his body. You know, like the kid's soul is dead, but his body remains, and this alien is like trying to work out how to blend in with the family. Like that might literally be the answer to the mystery. I don't know, but I'm just throwing it out there. But then there's also on top of it, like the mother is running for mayor. And like a highly ambitious politician, and her daughter is her like campaign advisor. And then there's the story with the guy who was originally convicted because the daughter planted evidence on him. And then there's this entire newspaper storyline. Even though they're in a small town in Maine, their newspaper looks like the New York Post. Like there is so much happening here. And I don't understand why. Like, this is a show about a small town, ostensibly, that has never been to a small town. Like, this is a show that like has absolutely no sense of place whatsoever. And as you said, the characters are yikes.
That's a good word for it.
Just yikes. Yeah, this is a weird. It's always fascinating to me when the lesson that a show draws from sort of quote-unquote prestige drama is that every character needs to be unlikable. Because that seems like the exact opposite of what the lesson should be. Like, you look at like Mad Men, it's like Don Draper did some terrible things and was certainly unlikable in moments, but overall, very charming character, very charming performance, and you generally found yourself rooting for him even when you hated it. The same with Walter White, the same with, like, you go down the list, like, prestige characters can be, quote-unquote, bad people, and they can certainly operate in shades of gray, but on the best prestige shows, you always like watching them. And my goodness, if I have to spend another minute with the people on this show, I will gouge my eyes out.
That's so accurate. I feel like between like these people and like the cast of The Slap, I don't know which I prefer, and really the answer is neither. But just both of them were like the I don't know, like atmosphere of the show is so tense and so like quote unquote dark, but like I just hate everyone, so I don't care about anything that's happening as a consequence of that.
Yeah, I agree. Did you ever watch The Killing?
No, I don't. Yeah, I've never
Okay,
seen it.
well, thankfully it's off the air now. But that was ABC's. I mentioned Mad Men. That was ABC's first post Mad Men, post Breaking Bad prestige drama, and everyone was very, very excited about it because a prestige murder mystery that followed one case sounded like the greatest thing ever. And the pilot was very, very good. And then within about 4 episodes, it became horrifyingly apparent that this was a terrible, terrible show. Um, and the family reminds me so much of The Killing, but like it skipped to the bad part. Like it never, the show never had like the auspices of being good. It is just, it starts out over cluttered, just with hateable characters. You're not rooting for anybody. You don't care about the central mystery. You don't care about the grief of anybody because you just hate everybody. And the sort of plot for the sake of plot, and there's no like clear hook with this other than the mystery itself. And it just like, it just gets it so wrong. Like it just what this show is trying to do, I think, is admirable, and I'm still like partial to the idea of a sort of mystery series. Like this is what The Whispers was. But boy, in that case and this case, they just got it so wrong, with the characters, with the setting, with the dialogue. Just everything about this just feels inauthentic to me. Like nothing about this feels like it's a genuine like mystery. It just feels it's a show that feels like it was created in a factory, and just sort of plopped onto screen, and really has no like beating heart behind it.
That's exactly how I felt. Because, like, in a lot of ways, I felt like, they kind of picked a bunch of tropes and put them as characters, which,
Yeah.
like, when you have a plot where it has, like, I don't know, I guess, like, a lot of emotional draw behind it, but you have these characters that don't even seem like authentic humans
Yeah.
trying to drive, like, this really, like, heavy, like, weighted plot. It's just, you're going to have kind of a recipe for disaster. And yeah, like there were so many moments of pure unintentional comedy. I know I'm supposed to be feeling something.
I know. It's a child kidnapping story. We're supposed to be like riveted, but I agree with you. Can you remember any like standout moments of the unintentional comedy for you? Do you have any scenes in particular or lines of dialogue
The
that you
sheer
like?
presence of the lesbian lifestyle.
Oh yes.
Just the fact that is even in there, that is my number one.
So yeah, I wrote this in my notes. So we had like in the first 10 minutes of the show, we introduced this like dedicated detective with a dark past, and like the conflicted mayor who's grieving her son, and this whole colorful cast of characters. And I was like literally thinking to myself, like, boy, you know what? The only thing this show needs is a plucky blogger who edits the lesbian lifestyle section of her local paper, and then voila,
She appeared.
He showed right up. Yeah, right out of the terrible trope playbook. The plucky blogger is here to save us.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give a special shout out to the scene where the husband and the reporter get it on in the police interrogation room.
God.
On top of the files relating to his son, who was kidnapped and, according to his own story, repeatedly raped for 10 years, and they are having sex on those files. It was horrifying. It
was so bad.
It was one of the most like disgusting scenes I've ever seen on television. I mean, we're laughing because it is so horrible that like you can't help but laugh. Like, I don't know what percentage of the horrifyingness they thought they were aiming for, but they way overshot it. Like,
I just wanted to be in the writer's room for that moment, for whoever pitched that idea and whoever said yes for that to be passed.
Yeah, I mean, yikes. That's a big yikes. I mean, this show, and then it had a bunch of flashbacks that were real dicey. Like, you know what mysteries don't need? Flashbacks that explain what the mystery is. Like, that's what I really don't need in my mysteries. I don't need like no tension, a bunch of no tension flashbacks to watch the daughter plant the evidence. It would have been a cooler like reveal a few episodes down the road in like real time, like watching her family realize that happened, that she did that, rather than us seeing a flashback and then like interspersed with her in confession. Like it's so like on the nose and clunky and not subtle at all, and there was like no art behind like the direction or the dialogue. Like it's just straight down the middle, ridiculous without realizing how ridiculous it is. It just doesn't do a lot right, to be honest.
Exactly. And like I feel like it tried to pull a note or like a feel from like How to Get Away with Murder, because I get this is one of the like graduates of the Shondaland
Yeah.
School of, making television shows, but yeah, it just How to Get Away with Murder, it kind of works on that, but it really, really did not work with this.
I mean, it's really like you look at How to Get Away with Murder, and that shows success, and you start with Viola Davis, and it's not just that she's a great actor; it's that despite that character being complicated, having some negative elements, again, you root for her, you root for the character she's playing, and you watch her and you enjoy it. What is so inexplicable about this to me, from a show-making perspective, is why they made the mother, the would-be mayor character, so dislikable. Like, she is so like shrill and like just like she's not like a grieving. She doesn't come off as like an authentically grieving mother. She comes off as a really obnoxious politician. And honestly, like, a story in this episode is that she immediately puts her son's return to her political benefit. And I just don't understand the decision to make her a conniving politician. Like, I don't understand why politics is involved in this show at all. It could just be a family. Like, that would be fine.
Right? And that's kind of what I thought it was until,
right.
This entire thing started, and it just,
Yeah, why is she running for mayor? And that was another thing about the killing, is there was this really stupid political plot that intertwined with the murder, but, like, that is not something that's needed. Like, that is such an artificial way to, like, increase drama, and it just really served to further muddy the waters of what is a really, really messy show, like, storytelling and plot motivation-wise and everything. Yeah, so this wasn't very good, suffice to say. The premiere did a 1.5 rating in the demo with 5.7 million viewers, which is pretty soft, although it was going up against the GOP debate, which was, I mean, you can't, no matter how crazy your drama is, you aren't going to top that last GOP debate, so maybe those numbers aren't accurate. But what is your sense of this one, Olivia? Cancel quickly, make it through the season, or renewed for next season?
There's the optimistic part of me that really, really wants this to be canceled quickly, and I'm kind of leaning in that direction. I can't imagine that this is going to stay on the air very long. Yeah,
I agree with you. I think this is bad in the way that shows get canceled quickly, where it's just like a bad, like, everything's bad. Like, there's no potential here. Like, this is a bad show.
It's just a terrible show.
It's a terrible show. And you're not, there's no performance that sticks out. There's no, like, story that's particularly interesting. There isn't really like there's no like life raft here. It's just like varying degrees of like decent scenes ranging to like really terrible, like hilariously accidentally funny scenes. But there's nothing here that I can point at and say like, oh, this is why you would keep the show on the air. Maybe they can rebuild the show around this. I don't see any element of that. So your final verdict, Olivia, thumbs up or thumbs down on The Family?
2 big family-sized thumbs down for me.
Yeah, we're ordering a family-sized helping of thumbs down for this one. Not very good. So you've been listening to the Pilot Roundtable, a TVAvengeance.com and Southgate Media Group production. You can listen to all of our episodes on iTunes, where you can rate and review us. We'd appreciate that. Or find us at SouthgateMediaGroup.com. Follow Olivia on Twitter at RichardsOlivia, and me on Twitter at KyleLovesTV. Until next time.